Hi, it's Dana here for the next stop on the Alleyway Stamps video blog hop. We're featuring spring cards, and to get started I'm going to first use the Tutti Frutti stamp set. I'm going to be using this peach image, and I'm going to stamp it with some brown ink on a watercolor paper piece, just a little extra piece that I have laying around. And I'm going to be using just some brown VersaFine ink to stamp it up. Alright, next I'm going to be using some distress markers to color it up. I'm going to have three colors. My lightest, I'm going to be using Scattered Straw. And for my medium color, I'm going to use Dried Marigold. And then for the third, darkest color, the Ripe Persimmon. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but so I'm just going to speed the video up to color this and turn on some music. I'm also going to be coloring, of course, the stem and the leaves, and then cut it out and using a brown distress marker to ink up the edges after I cut it out. So I'll let you enjoy the coloring. Alright, so now I'm back and I'm going to be using a craft card base, and I'm going to kind of get out my sentiments, and I'm first going to use the Sweet Friend from the new Yappy set, and then I'm going to use the Hope You're Peachy stamp set, or stamp from the Tutti Frutti stamp set. And I'm actually going to kind of lay this out on my card base, kind of just making sure that card base is straight on my mat. And I'm going to use my peach to make sure that I like the placement of both my sentiments, because I'm going to, of course, put them together, kind of use a masking technique with the sentiments when I go to stamp my background. So when I'm happy, I'm going to just use my block and put it over this images so they're right where I want them to be. And then I'm going to just ink them up real quick and stamp them on a full page sticky post-it note. And again, I'm just going to use some quick ink, brown ink to do it. Nothing fancy. Alright, and then I'm going to just cut it out. I'm not going to do anything special, just kind of get the most basic shape of the sentiment. And I already went and cut it out. And then I'm just going to place it kind of where I had placed these sentiments before, using my coarse peach to make sure I have all the placements right. And then I was looking at the crafted card base, and it had lots of dots and stuff that was on the craft, but I didn't really like it, so I turned it over to use the back. It didn't have any crafty spots and stuff that was kind of part of the card stock. So when I was happy, I just placed the post-it note on my card base, kind of pressed it down, and then now I'm going to make my background, and I'm going to first use the stamp set Pick 1. And I'm just going to use one of the flower stamps from it and place it on a block. And I'm going to be using some white pigment ink. It's kind of a hybrid, so it's going to should dry pretty fast, but I still kind of just I always seem to make mistakes or get smudges wherever, so I do try to not touch it even though it is supposed to be fast drying. So I'm just inking up the solid flower stamp really quick or really good. Make sure it's good and juicy, and I'm just going to be stamping it all over my card base. And as you can see, I'm going to also be stamping it a little bit kind of around my sentiment, so you kind of get the idea of where the space for the sentiment is going to be. And I'm just going to be kind of randomly stamping them all over um, the card base here and there, just making sure the stamp is nice and juicy, so I get a nice good white image. Next, I'm going to use some tiny dots from Birds of a Feather, and I'm just going to add this to my background with the same white pigment ink. Now I'm going to add some foam tape or foam dots to the back of my peach. So I'm just kind of cutting up some extra pieces. I used the dots in the middle plus the kind of what the dots leave behind. I don't know what you would call that, those spaces, but that works just as well as the dots. I especially like to use them in bigger images that I cut out or bigger pieces that I want to pop up. So I just add that to the back, and when I'm happy, I just press it down. And I just need to clean up a little bit of the pigment ink because I definitely don't want to get any smudges anywhere. So let's see, next I'm going to just peel off the post-it note that is kind of has been a mask for my sentiment, and now I've kind of created kind of a little bit of a shape that will fit my sentiment. So I'm just going to ink it up again with the brown VersaFine ink. And I'm just going to stamp it in that space that I masked off, and it fits pretty good especially with the flowers kind of creating little corners for the top of the sentiment. And when I have it placed down, I just press really good, or try to, on my kitchen table, so the table is not exactly the flattest. And because the ink doesn't quite get onto my card base, so I thought, well, I'll use a brown distress pen. It has a fine tip, and I can just color it in. But it seems the fine tip is a little bit too dry, so I'll go back later. I have another brown tip pen that I can make that a little bit darker and color it in. So next I wanted to add just a little bit of dimension to it, so I pulled out some enamel dots, and I found some orange ones that matched my coloring pretty good. And so I'm just going to add two little enamel dots to my little peach, just to kind of add a little bit of dimension. And of course I just cut them out, kind of placed them on my peach to make sure I liked them there. And then I use some liquid adhesive to adhere them down. I don't think the stickiness on the back of the enamel dots lasts very long. So I always like to just add a little bit of glue to where I'm going to actually be adhering enamel dots. And I just use a little toothpick to just so I have just a little bit of a dot where I want them, and then I can just place the enamel dots on my little peach. And now I know for sure that they should probably not be going anywhere anytime soon. So I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle to my card, which you can't really see much in the video, but I'm using a Wink of Stella pen to just add a little bit of sparkle to the center of each of the flowers. I decided to just keep it simple by just the flower centers. Um, and this kind of glitter ink also kind of liquefies the pigment ink, so just be aware that with your fingers and of course smudges. So I was careful when I was touching it. And last, it was just a matter of rounding the corners. Um, kind of thought it would look a lot better with kind of the roundness of the peaches and the roundness of the flowers. And so there you have it. Nice, cute little spring um, card. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully your next stop is Chrissy, and the link is below in the description. And I hope you have a great time hopping. Thanks for joining me.